Today I'm going to show you exactly how I edit my Milky Way images. We're going to be starting in Lightroom and then we're going to head over to Photoshop for a very effective way to completely transform your image. So make sure you stick around for that. So let's jump into Lightroom and get started. So this is the image that we're going to be working on. It was shot in Tekapo, New Zealand. It is a single frame image. It is a little bit noisy, but you can see there's still quite a lot of detail in the Milky Way. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do before I do any other adjustments is sort out the profile corrections. So what you want to do is tick remove chromatic aberration and then tick enable profile corrections. Go over to lens profile, make, and then select your lens that you used. So for me it was a Samyang 14mm f2.8. And then what I want to do, because my lens is very wide, it gives the image a lot of vignetting. So I'm going to boost the vignetting completely to 200. You might not have to do this depending on what lens you use, but for this particular lens, I have to do that. Perfect. So now after that, we're just going to do some basic corrections. So I like to increase exposure a little bit. And then what we'll do is increase the shadows. Only a little bit because we don't want to bring out all the noise. If you see, if I bring it right up, then we get a bucket ton of noise. So let's just keep it at, let's go 40 for now. I quite like to increase my highlights because you'll see it'll bring out the Milky Way. And then I'll increase my whites too a little bit. And then decrease the darks just a slight bit. -7 is good. And then I want to increase my contrast too. Perfect. And then what I want to do is bring up the clarity and then bring down the texture. You can do vice versa for this. So you can bring down the clarity and up the texture, but you can see that brings up a lot of noise. So what we're going to do is just bring up the clarity and down the texture. Perfect. And now before we do anything else, what I want to do is denoise this image. So there's two ways of doing this. One is by using the slider down here, manual noise reduction. So if we zoom in here, if we bring the slider up, you can see all the noise goes. But I don't like what that does because it makes the image look pretty plasticky and fake. So what we're going to do is click denoise. And Lightroom is going to use AI to denoise the image for us. Perfect, so that's all done. You can see it's done an incredible job, as per usual. Got rid of all the noise. And I'm going to zoom in here. It's actually done a really good job. If it doesn't do it as good as you would hope, you can bring up the color and that'll just get rid of all the color noise, because normally there's a lot of color noise in these images. But this has done a really good job, so we're just going to keep that at 0. Cool. All right, now what I want to do is bring up the shadows a little bit more. And I want to also bring up the exposure because it's still pretty dark. Beautiful. And then this over here is the tone curves. Now I don't really touch the tone curves, I just touch the sliders here. Now sometimes they're not, you're not able to see them because it could be on this up here. So if you click over from point curve over to the parametric curve, and then you can see your sliders down here. What you want to do is increase your highlights just a little bit, and then increase your lights, and this is going to change the image quite a bit. You can see that really makes the Milky Way pop heaps, which I like. I'm actually going to decrease my highlights a little bit because I don't want this to get blown out. Perfect, that's looking good. Now what I want to do is increase the vibrance and saturation and see what colors come out. So it's looking like there's a little bit of a yellowy green tone going on in the foreground here, which I don't like. So I'm just going to bring the yellows down just a little bit, like that. Perfect, so that's before and that's after. It's looking great. Cool, now what I want to do is I can see there's a little bit of air glow going on here in the distance. So I'm going to get a mask and I'm going to grab my brush tool, and then I'm going to bring the flow right down to, let's go 26, 25, and then we're going to just match all the lines that we can see on the air glow and just paint over them just like this. Perfect, and that should look something like this once you've done painting. I'm going to touch up there, and then what you want to do is grab your exposure. So we're just bringing out what's already there. So bring your exposure up and you can see it really comes out now. Don't go too overboard on this because it will start to look fake. And my air glow in this instance is green. It can be a lot of different colors, but predominantly yellow and green, and maybe a little bit of pink and purple is the color of the air glow. So whatever your color is gonna determine what you do on this. So mine's green, so I'm gonna bring the tints down to the green slider to bring that out. If it was yellow, you'd bring the yellow up like that, but I'm gonna keep my green down, and I'll bring my yellow up a little bit because there's a bit of yellow mixed in there. And then that's what it'll look like. So we'll turn off this mask so you can see. Perfect, looks great. Cool, now the next thing to do is to jump over to Photoshop to do the magic touch that I was talking about in the intro. This is gonna transform your image, so make sure you do this. So you go up to Photo, edit in Adobe Photoshop 2025. So once the image is opened up in Photoshop, what we're gonna do is reduce some of the stars. Because when you reduce the stars, it declutters the image and it makes the nebula, the Milky Way, look like it has been brought out a heap more than it has. So to do that, what you want to do is click your background layer, Control or Command if you're on Mac, and then J, and then they'll duplicate it. And then what you want to do is go up to Select, Color Range, and then you want to change Sample Colors to Highlights. And you're going to bring your range down to about 90 will be fine, and then fuzziness up. And whatever is going white in this box here is what is being selected. So I don't want too much selected. I think that'll be good. So we'll click OK. Perfect, that's actually a good amount. So now what we want to do is go Select, Modify, Expand, and we want to expand it by 2 pixels. And then we want to go Select, Modify, Feather, and then we feather it by half of whatever we expanded it by. So in this instance, it's 1. Click OK. And this is where the magic happens. We're going to go up to Filter, Other, Minimum, and then we want to reduce the stars by about 0.5. You can go up to 1, but just be mindful because the stars could leave holes in your image with whatever you remove. So I think 0.5 is good for me. So I'm going to click OK and let it do its thing. Perfect, all done. And now click Control or Command D to remove those marching ants. And there you go. That looks incredible. So that's before, after. So you can see the Milky Way has been brought out like an incredible amount. So that looks really, really good. Perfect, right. Let's go up to File, Save As, and save that to your device, and then image compression none. You can compress it if you want, but I don't want to go through the rigmarole of extracting a zipped file, so I just leave it as no compression, and then we go back onto Lightroom, and that should already be up here. Perfect, here's my image. If it doesn't import into Lightroom straight away, just re-import it like you normally would with an image, and then you'll get this up here. Cool, so what we want to do here is go onto your masks again, and I'm going to bring out some of the stars. I find this makes the image pop quite a bit. So we're going to grab our brush tool, going to bring our flow basically to the top, and we're going to just click right on that yellow star right there. Perfect, and then bring the exposure right up. And we want to decrease the flow, and then we want to make our brush a bit bigger. If you zoom in for this. And then just paint around that. That is a nebula. If you were to do a tracked image of the sky, you'd see that that's a nebula, but for this it's not tracked, you can't really make out what it is, so this will do. And then we want to grab another brush, and then we're going to do the same for the blue stars. So we're going to click them, click, click, click. I'm just going to click a few of the bright ones, just adjusting my brush size as I go. Grab that one, and this one will do. And you can do as many as you like here, but I don't like to go too overboard. I just grab maybe a dozen or so. It's a bit more than a dozen, but anyway, right, and then grab exposure, bring that up again. Heaps, and then I'm going to bring the temperature down because they're blue. Perfect. And that looks very, very good. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my dehaze and I'm going to bring it up. This is going to bring out the Milky Way quite a lot more, as you can see. Perfect. And then I can see my Milky Way still a little bit dark, so I'm going to bring up my highlights and my whites. And that is looking pretty incredible. I'm going to just fix this up a bit because I have done it too much. So I'm just going to hold Alt and then just brush over that and just delete some of that mask a bit more. Perfect. I think that is done. That's our final image complete. So I hope you got something from this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment down below what you thought of this tutorial. I love hearing your guys' feedback, and I'll see you in the next one.